was James Carville, legendary Democratic strategist. I mean, James, I'm personally not surprised that Sean couldn't get a word in edgewise. But anyway, on a fascism scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being peak fascism, how would you rate Trump's first week?
I don't doubt the smelt. I mean, look, he just says anything that he wants to say. I mean, how many stories I have to read that the Delta smelt has nothing to do with this? But he's just going to keep plowing through, okay? And what we have to learn as Democrats, just let him punch himself out. Just remember, this is a little bit before your time, but people in my generation remember Muhammad Ali and his rope-a-dope. He just he just go to it the first 6 or 7 rounds, and then you come in and you measure up, and then you start launching bombs. And
that's a good analogy there. You know, just let Trump just punch himself out like Muhammad Ali used to do people. But Muhammad Ali has skill. If you put Muhammad Ali in a situation where somebody was very aggressive or overly aggressive, he would do exactly what James Carville is asking the Democrats to do. Just let him punch himself out. But if some of those punches are landing, or in this case, everybody's squealing, it looks like more than just a few of his punches are landing. You can't let somebody punch yourself out by landing punches. You have to tire them out by making them miss. We're not making them miss. We're not set up to defend any of this as Democrats, as former Democrats, as independents, whatever you guys think Trump is trying to do right now. He is going in that direction. And the Democrats are sitting on the sideline with nothing, no defense. They weren't ready for this. They didn't prepare for this. And now he's talking about changing the Constitution and probably doing a third term. And what are we going to do in that instance? We need to get together as black people and figure this shit out. If we keep hanging in with the Democrats, we're going to keep losing. President Trump is doing things that have never been done and things that people have thought about doing over the course of some other presidencies. They just ain't really moved in that direction. Trump is making some moves. We are moving into the future. What we've done for the last 60 years has not worked. Everybody who's listening to this within earshot of this video, please say that. Black people in America have made no progress in the last 60 years. And that's when you look at adjustments for modernization and economics, make all the adjustments, put in a computer and pop that shit out. I bet we've regressed. There's absolutely no way in these modern times we should be in this position that we're in. It's just, it don't make no sense. And we got people in the Democratic Party like James Carville who we need to cover our ears up every time he's around. He has nothing to say that's going to help us. People who say things like that have nothing to lose. If I'm in a fight with a dude and he's landing punch after punch, but he's very aggressive, and I go back to my corner, and my corner tells me, oh, just let him punch himself out. But he's landing punches. He's fucking, can you tell me something else to do? Because I don't want to let him punch himself out. I need to find a way to make him stop punching at me like that. Come on, punch himself out. The old Democrats got to go. If they don't have anybody in place to take this shit over, then we need to let some new people in this country pop up and lead us forward, or act as leaders, or waste our time, or the fuck. We need to get our shit together for real. The black people in the government ain't gonna do it, y'all. You know we could do better ourselves. You know we can. Black people could put the word out. We got enough people in the public spotlight to put the word out. All they have to do is say, hey man, they ain't fucking with y'all no more. And they'll be like, what did they do? Well, why not? Talk to motherfuckers, you know, who they thought they had, and then they'd be like, wow, now Snoop Dogg, who y'all was clowning, got power because they running to him and he's reporting only what we telling them to. Y'all know that shit had never happened. All they got to do is get these dudes dollars and they just sell us the fuck out. That's the worst part. Give them a little bit of money in their pocket and they get up there and say it right in your face. Oh, fool. But we're the only reason that they are celebrities. We're the only reason that they are stars because we give them credibility. If they went up there rapping about stuff and black people didn't support it and their concerts were empty, or if they did have people in them, they weren't us, they'd lose credibility and they'd lose money. They need us for credibility, but then they take that credibility and abuse it. I don't know goddamn well Snoop, man, if it come down to money, we already seen what he'd do. he was basically high and just acting on that other, talking about I wish I would. That made me feel like, because I remember that old ass tape that he did. And I was like, man, Snoop is down as fuck. Because some of the rappers ain't like Snoop looking kind of dudes. They're like, they'll whoop his ass. But for him to be saying that, it's like, dude, you ready to start a beef just because somebody, you know, might go perform for Donald Trump because of their political view. But making the stand that he made back in 2017, I was like, damn, he ready to, like, for real, fire the shot. And then to go turn around and do that, just ridiculous. And then we get James Carville. They just won't get no good leadership in the Democratic Party, and we need to quit being a part of the membership. What would that feel like to them? Just have a big old empty hole. Trump come in, just knocking things down. They talking about changing the Constitution, just things that presidents in our lifetime haven't done. But the Constitution has been touched before. It had to have been touched before. Maybe if he's willing to open it up to see if he can extend his presidency, maybe we need to go talk to him. Say, hey, man, can we get some things added in there that might benefit us, or that we could use, and from us directly, not through the Democratic Party, because it's going to have LGBT and all those other people in it. We don't know. No, just us. We need to make it very clear to Trump at this time, when you're talking about black people, please don't include us with any other ethnic group, minority group, even other blacks from Africa and Jamaica. We are a completely unique case. No one else can be with us. And when it comes to getting things and negotiating for things and any of that stuff, there should even be a talk. When they were doing the reparations study in California, there was this big old talk about, is it just blacks who are descendants of slaves or all blacks? You know, because Africans and Jamaicans, you know, they come over here and get, well, they probably got resented against where they came from. Well, they need to go back. That's why they here. Go back and get your reparations from over there. We ain't even got no goddamn reparations, and other people are already sticking their hand in the pot. It's never going to work for us unless we eliminate everybody. That's just it. I wish, I'm hopeful that the Democrats can make some, but you know, in reality, you guys, it's not very likely. James Carville, look at him, this old motherfucker, and I know I'm old, because every video I made in 2024, in 2025, I've been saying 2024. Here we are in 2024, but we're in 2025. And I know. And that ain't no editing mistake. I just, you know, shit. What a slip of the tongue. You ever talk to somebody? I ain't gonna be getting corrected over missing the year, and it's a new year. Shit. I'm gonna start saying 2025 though. But I just had to explain myself before I start talking about his old ass. Cause look behind him, he got his fucking Christmas tree still up. You know what I'm saying? What kind of shit is that? My Christmas tree ain't up. I did take that down and shit, but goddamn. And we supposed to be taking advice from his senile ass. That's some bullshit. We can do way better than this, you guys, as black people, and we're going to have to. I'm going to start being more outgoing and friendly toward black people. I'm going to start really trying to seek black people out and talk to them and find out where their heads are at. I come from a place with a lot of my black friends are Democrats, and they support the Democratic Party, and I don't have a problem with them supporting the Democratic Party, but I don't plan on losing any of my friendships over this shit. You know what I'm saying? They Democrats. I'm like that person that died but ain't been accepted into heaven yet, purgatory or whatever. That's where I am, because I am not going to land in the Democratic Party. If I had to return to my body, it won't be in the Democratic Party. That shit ain't happening. And never, never, ever, never. I just wish we could do something. Everybody else is doing new shit. Why we got to keep doing the same shit, man? We need a movement. We need to name it some snappy shit and make T-shirts and hoodies and everybody be like Wonder. And not no Black Lives Matter type shit. Some real black movement where we ain't taking donations and GoFundMes and cheating people. The way we live our lives and the decisions that we make going forward will be our movement. We don't need to be taking money from people. We don't have money to give, and ain't nobody else gonna give us none unless they want to tell us what to do. And we don't
hard to sit here and just look at one, you know, Greenland, Canada, canal zone, Delta smelt, you name it. But you just got to keep bobbing and weaving, and then in due course, you're going to be able to come in. But the big thing is, the number one promise, the biggest political promise of his generation, is he would get food prices down. Then he got in office and said, there's nothing I can do about it. Of course, eggs are $4 and something a dozen, and he keeps distracting us, and we keep getting distracted. But we'll come back in and we'll straddle this target and get it in range here before long, I think.
Yeah, well, the but my eggs has become the new kind of retort,
okay.
right? So let's focus on kind of what's happening tonight then. The Senate is looking to confirm Pete Hegseth tonight. There were some blows, I think, glancing, albeit if we were going to stick with the Muhammad Ali kind of analogy here, there were some glancing blows that landed, I think, during the confirmation hearings. And the reason why we know that happened a little bit is you got at least two GOP senators who are the traditional naysayers, and Murkowski and Collins, that always have some concerns, quote unquote. They're a no. They're a hard no, which I'm grateful for. But it looks like Trump isn't actually even 100% sure about his on-again, off-again buddy, Mitch McConnell. Your thoughts about whether or not Mitch McConnell gets a spine on this Hegseth confirmation?
I assume that he's going to vote yes.
Wow, that's a trip. And I remember last year, this is 2025. So when I say last year, I'm talking 2024. Early in 2024, Mitch McConnell was glitching. You guys remember that shit when he get on the mic and just freeze the fuck up for like a long ass time? And everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with Mitch? What the fuck is wrong with Mitch? And they were like, well, he's just trying to get through this. He knows that he's advancing in age. They couldn't explain what was wrong with him. He was just freezing the fuck up for like a long ass time. His face would just freeze, and he'd be in the middle of a sentence and didn't stop moving and shit. And they said that in September or October. I know I'm not tripping. I'm going to look for the tape and see if I can find that shit. That Mitch McConnell was going to step down. He's waiting until the election or the end of the election or some shit. After the election season or some shit, he was supposed to step down. And this motherfucker is still up there voting for shit. What the fuck? These old people don't want to go. They don't want to go because this country is going to be changed drastically if they get out of the way. And they just will not take their old dead ass hands off the wheel. To get to where we are right now, it was a lot of old white people who didn't want to go. They didn't. And they did, and we changed to this point. You guys might think it's because the Democrats did something for us, but the country changes. You might be a racist, but you can't be as racist as your father was. And your father might have been a racist, but he can't be as racist as your grandfather was. So it's getting a little better. And we trying to, work through it or whatever, and we can attribute it to whatever we want to attribute it to. But through the modernization of times, people get educated and they do understand. But in this country, we shield people from education to keep them thinking a certain way. So that's dangerous too. We need to educate our folks, right? That's all. We need to know that black people have a clear understanding of what the fuck is going on. And I think we can make better decisions. But most of the shit we doing is out of ignorance. You sit down and write a song, you should think about the effects or the potential effects of the lyrics that you write. Whether you're singing a love song or whatever. If you want to make someone feel sad or down, write about a true story in your life that happened and in reality. You know what I'm saying? You ain't shot up a whole fucking town of people and you still writing songs. I mean, be realistic in the stories that you tell about some of the tragedies that go on in our inner cities and attribute them to the right place. And at the bridge, have a positive fucking outcome or show people why you on the mic rapping and making money as opposed to still living in that. And you don't go back and kill other rappers and all that shit. We need to think our way out of this. That's the only way out. We can't buy our way out. We can't talk our way out. We have to think our way out of this. We can do way better. And quit following people who don't think for themselves. Quit letting non-thinkers think for us.
He ran that caucus for so long, and even if he votes no, Vance is going to be. He might be saving it to let somebody else, some vulnerable incumbent, vote no. But they got another vote to spare because, as you correctly pointed out, if it's a tie vote, then Vice President J.D. Vance will be able to break the tie. And who cares? I mean, it's not horseshoes or hand grenades. If you confirm by one vote, you confirm by 100 votes, it's the same effect. But I do think that the Democratic senators are making them pay somewhat of a price for supporting this. And the more evidence that come out, the more evidence that's being hidden, the more people that they don't talk to, it builds a case. It's going to take time. We're not going to get instant results, and we just got to keep bobbing and weaving and rope-a-dope here. So far, they're doing okay.
James, you're from the great state of Louisiana. I'm based out of Florida. You and I are no strangers to natural disasters. Trump floated today getting rid of FEMA. I mean, and we just heard him before you came on trying to condition aid to California on voter ID and talking about water coming down from the north to the south. I mean, I get your point that we need to keep on bobbing and weaving, but is there a critical mass, you think, that we reach, though, an accumulative effect of having something like aid, federal aid from an agency that we've always recognized for decades as being around to help all Americans, regardless of political party?
That's it. That's the problem with the fucking country. I got it. I fucking got it. It's just comfortable. They're used to the abuse. They're used to the racism. They're used to the fucked up shit. They're just used to it. She's being nostalgic. But what about FEMA that we've had around? Look at all the fucking disasters in this goddamn country and how FEMA be fucking up shit. Maybe we need another acronym. Maybe we need another goddamn agency. Or maybe we need to put it on the states individually. Because I've always been one of them motherfuckers who feel like nobody will wash your car better than you. Nobody will clean your house better than you. You might call in a cleaning lady, but when you find out she's cleaning your kitchen areas with some of the same shit she just cleaned your bathroom with, then you'll be like, oh shit. But if you never find that out, you'll never know. You just visually looking. You can't see microscopic shit, but nobody will clean your house better than you. Nobody will take care of your state better than you. If you have a state that has a lot of fires, you should be the state that's set up with aircraft that drop water bombs on the shit, with the training and that, and the resources within your state to mitigate any of that shit. And if it's something catastrophic happens and a piece of the state break off and sink, of course there's a federal government there to back up any of the states. But I think it's a little bit too much for the federal government to have to do. When every state has natural disasters, they just have their own concerns and their own problems. Some of them are weather, some of them are man-made. It just can be a lot of shit. It can be an act of terrorism. Shit. If you really want to know the truth, if somebody takes a large amount of illegal immigrants and drop them in your state, that right there is an act where you should be contacting FEMA for the people that live in your state for some relief. You can't fuck that shit. FEMA can go, and we ain't gonna miss it, because maybe his plan, this is a maybe, will be to put it on the states. California, you on your own. If you need help, give us a holler, but otherwise start setting your shit up. Georgia, all these fucking states, it might work out better. We might like it better. Maybe the governors can be the head of their natural disasters and shit that goes in their country, like they always do, until the president fly out and then they hand the shit over to him or whatever. Usually it's the governor. So if you're the fucking head of the disaster, whatever it is, fucking anything, you're the head of that state. You're the president of that state. You're the governor. And you don't need the president or the federal government fucking with you unless you call them and tell them, because so you can handle the way that it goes, and you won't be mad and complain, oh, they shouldn't have done that. Well, you do it. It don't sound like a badass idea to me for each state, who nobody knows more about our state than us. Nobody knows more about their state than them. Leave them alone. Let them do the shit. It may not be that bad of an idea. It's just different. Everybody seems so afraid of the change that we might encounter. It's gonna happen sometime in our life. And a lot of people who are getting older are afraid of it. To get up in the morning and walk. Do some fucking push-ups. Get yourself in shape. You might live longer than you think you are. And then you'll be going, damn, I wish I'd have took better care of myself. Well, then fuck it. Do it now. Do something that's going to lift your spirits and give you hope. Because if you ain't got no hope, you ain't going to do shit. Just sit there and throw your hands up. Put it back the way it was. I like the way it was before. You don't even know how it was before. The motherfuckers just lied to us about all kind of shit. And then we support it. And they think we're going to continue. But right now, it's time for us to start opening the book up and reading the pages. Figure out what the fuck is going on.
That it's going to blow up in his face a little bit on this.
Well, it is, and the thing is, it's going to take. It'll take a little time. It's starting to. It's going. Now let's take things. The reason we live in a country. You're from Florida. I'm from Louisiana. We have a hurricane, which we're all very familiar with, but maybe too familiar with. You can't. The state of Louisiana, New Orleans metropolitan area, cannot deal with all the things that come with hurricanes: deaths, flooding, storm surges, excessive rain, wind damage. Emergency stress on emergency services, et cetera, et cetera. That's why.
Yes, they can. They can do it their goddamn self. They can set their emergency disaster shit up where it can be utilized just like it is. It just ain't coming from the federal government. It's coming from your own. So you have the same access to those goddamn resources to prepare, and nobody will prepare better than the state of Louisiana. This motherfucker be playing them games where they just be trying to get money out the federal government for their own little pet projects and bullshit. They need to really get a few $1 billion together and set up some emergency disaster, and don't be trying to rape the government. Just fucking use the resources that you have within your state and the amount of money that you have. Be ready medically for all that kind of shit. And like I said, if something happened and get out of hand over what we gonna do? Fuck, we're gonna call the federal government anyway. But Trump won right now, and the Democrats are helpless. All they can do is sit back and say what they and black people, we in a unique place. We in a unique place. We could really, for real, justifiably peel away from the Democratic Party. And after we do, you'll start looking at TV and you'll start hearing different talk out of them. If we start having huddles like football teams, or nobody don't know what's going on in that huddle but the people in that huddle. Fuck that shit. We need to quit telling them everything because they haven't helped us. They're whining about it. Trump ain't been president but a few days, and they crying about 1964. They ain't done nothing else for us since then. They ain't, that's noteworthy. That's worth talking about. And then they bring out the Crypt Keeper in this motherfucker with that Christmas tree up in 2025. I'm just saying that so y'all know I know what year it is. I've been saying 2024. Y'all like, if any of y'all fact checkers out there talking about, he said 2020. Yeah, I said it. But I know I said it. I just, I ain't gonna say it no more though.
Why you have a national government. All right. Same thing is true in Southwest Florida that I was just in. And everybody I talked to, I would ask, what's the effects of the latest storm? They said, I had water in my house. They had to get back up and running. And Southwest Florida is not sufficient to take care of its own business when you have a disaster of this level. That just like we have in the fires in Los Angeles. Well, it would be ridiculous to live in a country and say, well, I'm just going to let California deal with it. But California's whole system is stressed. Literally, every available firefighter is justifiably there. Every dollar in resources is going to try to protect these people's homes to get them.
Nah, it's not. That ain't no baby. That yard egg baby and shit, that ain't my house. That's in James Carville. I don't know the fuck he got over his shit. I be having tapes come up. They be having more background noise and shit than my shit. But his old ass, man, he's talking crazy. California can't have it their way like that. You can't have a fucking sanctuary city and spend all these millions and billions of dollars on illegal immigrants, and then when you have natural disaster, start crying to the federal government. Fuck that. You should have your pantry full, and if you have excess and you want to do some extra shit, as long as it don't include illegal immigrants, then do it. But you can't be fucking going out there blowing your money, and then when something really happened, you crying, oh, we don't have enough, oh, we can't manage it. We could do all that shit. Every fucking state could, especially the sanctuary ones. You got that kind of money on hand. You have surpluses. And if you have a surplus that goes on for an extended period of time, can you lower the fucking taxes? Doesn't that mean the taxes is too high? That means you're charging too much for the motherfucking taxes. Lower them. We got these surpluses that we starting to help other motherfuckers we shouldn't be helping. Oh man, that should be making me mad. I'm sorry. I'll be better when we start having black meetings in different cities and shit. I'll be all right. The energy ain't right.
Bill, that's why you have a United States of America. That's the exact reason that we founded this country.
No, it ain't. It's just saying some shit. The exact reason. This country was hijacked. Shit, this was England's. And then we got over here and did our thing. And everybody wants to better themselves. And sometimes things that look like a crime, or you're going against the government, you're going against the law. But then you have to weigh it. Like, man, am I going to continue to live alongside people who leave wealth and leave property and leave stability for their families, leave opportunities? Am I going to continue to live alongside people like that and never enjoy any of that? How many generations are we going to do this? Every generation, for the most part, black people have to start over. These black rappers, they're the first rich person in their family. They're historically rich. It ain't the Snoop is worth over $100 million. Zero's $100 million. Back in those days, the rich black people were business owners or landowners. That's what they knew how to do. Sure, when we got into the 1900s and entertainment and all that stuff came along, but man, black people are hard-working folks and have always had wealth and in small amounts because it's wiped out. They're not gonna let us do it in the masses. And when these guys are historically rich and living in mansions, it's not easy to wake up every morning looking at the marble floors and think, I'm not about to jeopardize this because we need to support these guys and let them know. And I think they know. They know we support them or they wouldn't be rich. We giving them what they need to be rich. Being authentic. You can't be authentic without, the people you rapping and talking about, bobbing their head and bumping to them beats. Because we stop listening to it, but make it positive. Shit, make it fucking positive, please. We gotta get away from that negativity. Y'all be crying and whining about some fucking Trump, and look how we are to our own self.
That there were certain things that we need, and I would say that emergency preparedness and emergency relief is very part of the rationale of having a country. And anybody that's we all live in a disaster zone of one.
It totally is. But I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a plant that stores gasoline and it blows up. You think the state should come in and take care of that for you? Of course, they're going to come in and try to help you, not with the loss of life and some of the loss of property and all of that. But when the check comes out, it's just going to be paid by whoever owned that tank that blew up. And each state I look at as a fucking tank. And we should take our revenue and prioritize it like that for to ensure the residents of a particular city and make sure that if their houses do blow up, they get replaced. That's the right shit to do, and not to take the extra money and bring in a bunch of illegal immigrants and start doing a bunch of bullshit with our money and not lowering taxes. That's what I said.
Of one kind and another. You have hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, natural, any kind of disaster you can think of, flooding for sure. And that's just, and more of this is going to come about. Just understand, this is not stopping. It's just going to go up exponentially.
Well, it's going to get worse because of climate change, which is something that Trump has denied and the Trump administration is not embracing whatsoever. Very quickly, before I got to let you go, James, Steve Bannon famously said that they're just going to flood the zone with ish. Right. I'll use that word before I get edited out.
I'll say fecal matter. I think I can say that.
Fecal matter. Okay, we're on the same page. Yeah. So, and listen, I get it. And I love the idea of bobbing and weaving because I agree that I think that we kind of stay on our toes and we prepare for it. But this guy has been installed in office for 4 years, and that's a long time to be bobbing and weaving. Where are the Achilles heels, in your opinion, right now that we could actually take immediate action to do? Again, I understand we're resigned to 4 years, but where are the Achilles heels we can do immediate action and immediate harm?
We've got midterm elections coming up. Recruiting is very important.
Elections are coming up in 2 years, so 2 years of bobbing and weaving. And he landing punches. You don't want to be getting hit for 2 years, bobbing and weaving my ass. James Carville is just talking shit. He know goddamn well that the ship is sinking or has sunk. And the Democratic Party are still not willing to admit it. At some point they will, and you guys will look back to this day and you'll be like, damn, black popcorn tell you, hell fucking yeah, I'm telling you, this ship is sinking and has possibly sunk. They know it. A lot of the Democrats is fucking don't even know what to do. Look at who they got as the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries. That motherfucker is of like no substance at all. And we need to start doing a better investigation on these folks. Hakeem, where the fuck he come from? What makes him such a strong black guy to be out there as a leader of not only, I would say, black people, a member of the caucus, a member of the Congress representing blacks? Who is he? Where he come from? A whole bunch of them. They ain't doing anything for us. And maybe if they see that we ain't fucking around no more, maybe they will, roll the way we about to roll. Because we have to. We have no choice. Y'all want to sit here and rely on the Democrats to save us from Trump? Go ahead. Otherwise, we need to step up and do it ourselves. Because Trump ain't going to stop himself. You never get tired of socking somebody. Especially when you have a chance to go sit down and take breaks and come back and sock them some more. The police departments are going to continue to abuse us, whether we bring back these civil rights, DEI, all that shit. It ain't got nothing to do with none of that. What it has to do with is the fact that we need to sit down and we need to let Donald Trump know that you seem to be into change, and so are we. We're going to have some kind of a summit and a meeting and sit down and talk to this motherfucker like men and figure out what the fuck is going on. So the Democrats don't have to tell us. We want to hear it out of his fucking mouth ourselves. And with that, like, comment, share, and please subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one.